Hello, chat. Hopefully my mod is acting good. I don't know. Anyways, playing some 2042 Battlefield 6, not on the PS6. I got the game kinda running 60 frames, so we should see. But this is more like a review about the game. So let's just get started with all the things I gotta complain about the game. Game is good. When it's running like in 60 frames like this, even 30, 40, doesn't matter. Like as long as it's running at above 30, 30 plus 30 or but above 25, it's good, bro. It's amazing, But the mechanics, all the good stuff, But even some of the good stuff, got the good mechanics and everything, the traction, like it's bringing back more dynamic and everything. Dragon teammates, all that good jazz, right? All that good jazz. It's good, but it has issues as well, issues that are since Battlefield 5 basically. Since literally Battlefield 5, damn. And these issues are, so when you revive someone, just like in Battlefield 5 and in 2042, 2042 had defibrillators. Battlefield was the first game that took away defibrillators. Or like any kind of like syringe or whatever. It was just a square button, It was a square button, and it was also the game. Now Battlefield had always a square button as weapons. I complain about this in Battlefield all the time since Battlefield 5. But Battlefield always had circle or triangle or something like that as the pickup weapon or pickup class, And having square, which is not a bad, for the normal standard. But the issue is that you always pick up your teammate weapons, Battlefield 4 had, square and stuff like that. They had triangle for like those special weapons and everything, but Battlefield 4, the Battlefield 3 had like circle and stuff like that, so there was an option to always pick up classes separate, and I think switching the class option, always having it in the settings, as a different button would be nice. It would fix this whole issue of picking up your teammate's weapon or class, And in this game, in 2042, you wouldn't use the defibrillators that much because they didn't work. They had little reach and little range. Little range, like radius and reach. So like, you had to be on top of it. And then even when you're on top of them, it still wouldn't work. And in this game, it's the same thing, though better. It's still there. It's literally just copy and paste from 2042. They just fixed up a little bit. I can't tell you how many times where like I went up to someone or someone went up to me, we're trying to revive me or I'm trying to revive them and I just can't, and then I died, Like every second counts, So reviving needs to be fixed. Change it, or at least have us have the option to change the button layout. And speaking of changing controls, custom controls are kind of broken still. I have my controls as L1, R1, L2, R2, It's, Battlefield 3 controls on the PS3. Or in Call of Duty terms, tactical. Or in modern day Call of Duty, tactical flip, This game doesn't have preset controls for that. So I have to maximize controls for that, customize controls for that as well. Only issue is some controls overlap. Like circle is crouch and melee now. Even though I have crouch and melee separate. They're not the same thing. They're not binded. So like if I could go through settings real quick. Controller, edit preset, edit keybind. it's using Xbox controllers, but I'm using PS controllers. So circle is melee, you know, and then crouch and prone is like over here. If I could find it, whatever that's at. Oh yeah, right here. So and it still overlaps, you know. It kind of reminds me of Helldivers. Helldivers 2 has that issue too, where these damn PC medics, bro. But Helldivers has the same issue where like the mech overlaps with your custom controls, you know. So you have to kind of use keyboard and mouse and controllers sometimes to get that thing to work, you know. Like they have custom controls for vehicles, but not mechs, you know. So it's like, you know, and that's why I feel like it's like you have controls that overlap, and this could be a little glitch. They need to fix that, you know. But also going with classes, right? So like if you go to classes, right? In other Battlefield games, you can switch between, you know, you want your gadgets to be on what D-pad, right? You want them up, down, left, right, whatever, right? Or just flipped, right? You have to have it, you know. Like your gadget, your specialist gadget is not here. So you have defibrillator and you know, deployable cover. But you can't switch the D-pad. You have to go through custom controls for the D-pad. The only issue is, let's say I want the new tube, like custom controls, right? I want upper D-pad, you know, for the deployable shield. But I forgot what I think the but I want like the new tube, right, to be like on left D-pad or right D-pad, you know, when I switch to a south, you know. I can't, you know, I'm not gonna go to my settings every single time to change all that, you know. Having the option to change what D-pad in the class system would be nice. To change, letting you change what D-pad, your gadget, and your weapon and everything else, like all this other stuff, you know, on the menu would be nice, because you know, instead of going to settings and doing that, you know, like other games let you do that, other Battlefield games let you do that. Why can't this one do it? You know. But I always hit like, you know, like as I look at the icon, right, and think, okay, it's over here, like the gadget's on the left side, and it's step D-pad, you know, or whatever, you know. Or like I bring up the shotgun in the ESL class, or the whatever, right? Like let me switch to the ESL class real quick. You know. Like I don't want the shotgun here. You know, I can't even change the shotgun. I want the new tube to be on the left D-pad, you know. I want the new tube to be on the left D-pad. Shotgun, just get this out of here, you know, to begin with. But anyways, but like, you know, and then like just have it. Like why is that even there? Like have that as like a like why this is like, in this case, like why? Like in this case, like have this, put this like on right D-pad or down D-pad or something. Or this could be, or put this on left D-pad, but like put it as the icon. Like, you know, in the end, I still want to change, you know, my stuff, you know. Instead of having to go through controls every single time, you know, like each class I kind of want it different, you know. Other Battlefield games let you do that. This game doesn't really let you do that. But it is what it is, you know. Also, I think shotguns are just so annoying in this game, because especially with these maps. We get to the maps in just a second. But another thing I want to pick a fight with is the lobby disbandment and server browser. I know people's like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Oh, it is. Because it takes the fun out of the game. Waiting like 5 or 6 minutes for a match, like I'm playing Overwatch, is the most retardedest thing I have ever done. Like, you know, like in this game, like it's the most dumbest thing in this game in general. Like 2042 had it. Dumbest thing ever. You know, stupid. Going into a match every single time, and then the match is either it's either about to end, you're on the losing team, and it's the same map you play like 3 or 4 times. Or in other cases, It's the map you want to play, or you haven't played that much, but you always getting into that match where it's ending, you know? And then you're gonna play something like the same map over and over again, you know, from start to finish, you know? And then you wait until the next, when you go through that, and then you go into the next match, and then it throws you into a match that doesn't end, and it's a good map too, you know? It's just like, damn, like you can't play the game. Like, that's the thing, you know? That's the thing, like, and it's weird how, like, you know, it sounds like, you know, not only from like the developers, but also just people's like, why do you not want to use quick match? Why do you want to have a server browser? You know, like, because it's a better system. And Battlefield in general has always been bad at quick matches. Like, they work on games that didn't have a server browser, like 1943 or Bad Company 1 and 2. But the thing about those, like, the quick matches usually worked. But you didn't have lobby disbandment. And I feel like that's a bigger issue. If they're not gonna let us have a server browser in the main game and this portal, can we stop having lobby disbandment? You know, like, that would be amazing. I think having a server browser would just fix all that stuff. But lobby disbandment is the main issue because, like, it would stop people from booting them out of the game. And then, you know, splitting up the entire team and everything so no one can be, like, communicating anymore. It's all fresh new people. And at the same time, it's like, it would stop, you know, situations where you end up in the same match. And it doesn't really work. Because, like, you know, I want to play, like, even the custom search, right? Like, I want to play just breakthrough and rush. And it throws me into Congress, you know? Battlefield always had issues with, you know, with matchmaking, quick matches, even in general, even in the games, like I said, with quick matches, you know, or no one had no sub matches, you don't have quick match, that's it. Especially when you're trying to play your friends, you know, your team will get spread out, you are on the enemy team, you in different servers, you know. Battlefield always had issues with quick match. The server browsers are always the better one because it used to almost guarantee you guys are going to be in the same game, you know. This game still has those issues. Trying to play with friends. Oh, we're in different servers. Oh, it's a game mode we didn't want to play, you know. Oh, it's a map we didn't want to play, you know. Having a server browser and having non-disband lobbies will fix all these unnecessary, dumb, retarded decisions that they made themselves. They made themselves by, oh, lobbies gotta disband. Oh, why? Because, you know, they want to use it because there's balancing issues. And it's like, bro, just switch, just scramble the teams up, you know. Because in the end, this game still has one-sided maps anyways. Like, for example, when you put this map on Rush, whose idea was it to put tons of cover on this objective right here in the garage where nothing can be destroyed? You know, this sector is a nightmare, you know. Put it over there by the park. Keep this objective right there, but put the other objective over there by the park, you know. Like, in the end, like, it's kind of addictive to, like, you know, just from, like, their own design and objective placement or whatever, you know. Because you still have one-sided matches to begin with. And in the end, it's Battlefield. You're gonna have one-sided matches regardless. Why do you have to have dumb mechanics like lobby disbandment and no server browser just because, you know, of how the game usually is just to begin with, you know? When in the end, it doesn't really fix the issue, you know? You can have the best map design, best game mode, best objective placement, and you would still get a one-sided match because sometimes the enemy team or your own teammates just suck. You know, it's just how it is, you know. I'm not doing nothing this match, by the way. I'm just yapping, but that's different. Unnecessary decisions, bro. It's just like stuff from Battlefield 5 and 2042 like that have been an issue for a while that didn't need to be issues, that was not issues, are now still in this game, you know. And a lot of these are just quality of life fixes, you know. Being able to should pick what equipment on which D-pad, you know, goes to, you know. Keep it in the same lobby, you know. So the next map will go to. You can have the same map twice, you know. I can rush or breakthrough, attacking and defending, you know. Server browser, like I said, you know. Equipment changing, lock weapon classes, you know. All that good jazz. It's just like it would be better, you know, because we didn't have these issues before. Having the actually go through the settings and change like pick up weapon and reviving, you know, teammates as two different weapons, so you don't pick up their classes. At least let us change that in the settings, you know. If you're not gonna do it by yourself, let us do it, you know, in our own settings, you know, like revive teammates with square. Change it to like circle. Or pick up weapons or class, you know, pick up weapons or class off the ground, you know. Change it, let us change it in the settings, you know. Just quality of life fixes that will fix a lot of these unnecessary issues that happen time and time again. Stop happening, you know. Granted, like picking up your picking up your teammates' classes or weapons is a lot less than it is in Battlefield 5 or in 2042. But it's still there, and when it happens at the worst time. You're trying to grab a teammate and pull them in cover with like 10 dudes shooting you, and then, you know, you end up picking the class, you know. And then they're stuck with a class they don't want, and you're stuck with a class and weapons you don't want. It's just, you know, it's unnecessary changes and implementations that they're so bent on keeping, you know. They're so bent on keeping, you know. And it's like Fabrics, like, why do you want that? Like I remember, like, you know, people saying like for example, the server browser, right? Like in 2042, all people, some people say like, it's too an advanced future, you know. The PS5 can't handle that, you know. It's like, bro, this stuff existed on the PS3, bro. Now it's like, now the stupid of like a server browser, non-library disbandment, you know, is like, it's like insane to them, because like it feels like to a lot of people too, it's like outdated, you know. I was like, why do you want a server? Why do you want to manually find your server? You know, why do you want to stay in the same lobby with the same people? You know, why don't you run quick match and let the game just do the match for you? You know, and it's just like, it's like it sounds like it's like too old school, you know, for them. And it's like, well, the new way is the dumb way, because here I am sitting like 5 or 10 minutes into the match, and then there's a chance, which it has, it's pretty common too, I'm gonna be honest. At least for me, it's pretty common, get into a match that's about to end, and it's just, and it's the map that I want to play on, actually, you know. Then it leads into a match that's freshly started, and it's a map I don't want to play on, or I play like 10,000 times on, you know. And not just talk about this game in general, like in general, like in 2042 as well, you know. Like it's always like the 3 boat maps, and it's never something that I wanna, you know, I wanna play. You know, I like the city maps in that game, you know, like Hourglass and Kaleidoscope. I actually like those maps. I don't want to touch the boat maps, you know. But they would put me in Hourglass or Kaleidoscope, and when it's about to end, but they put me like in Manifest or something like that, you know, with a full lobby and everything, you know, start to finish. And I'm like, bro, I do not want to play this, you know. It's unnecessary, bro. It's completely unnecessary. And there is the way to fix these issues were already done in the past. So, you know. And then when you're waiting for the next match to find the matchmaking, right? It could sometimes take like another 3 to 5 minutes. I'm literally sitting here waiting for the next match. It's like I gotta quit the back to the menu, and then it still takes like another couple minutes, you know. Sometimes 30 seconds, or sometimes 10 seconds. There's times where it finds a match really quick, but like in most cases, like it will find the map. Like if we had non-lobby disbandment, it would just load up the next map right away. You know when the next match, it will have like a minute countdown, like 1 to 2 minute countdown or whatever. You load up the next match and boom, you win. You know, not even like 2 minutes. Like it's like a minute to 30 seconds. You know, like you see the scoreboard, you see what you did. Okay, cool. You sit there, you have enough time to like get a drink or whatever, and come back and ready to start the next match. You know. And you know it's going to be a different map, and you know it's going to be the game mode you want to play. You know, it's the game mode you want to play. You're going to have a match that's going to start to finish, and it's going to be a different map. You know, not just like, oh, is it going to put me into a match? Well, it's going to be start to finish, but it's the same map I just played. You know, like 10 times. Or it's going to put me into a match where I want to play a map I want to play, but it's going to end in 10 seconds. You know. Like those, just get rid of this quick match idea and lobby this man. They need to get rid of that mindset. That this idea of like innovating. You know, the wheel of matchmaking. It needs to go. It's annoying. If you're trying to play with friends or whatever, you load it in. People don't like this map. And it always pops up. I like this map, but people who don't like this map, oh my god. And I know their pain. Like I said, I know what it is. Because for me, I'm always loading into the damn boat maps in 2042, you know? So, it will fix this drastically, you know? They don't have to add these other implementations and all this other jazz. When the solution to the fix is obviously what we've been asking for. No lobby disbandment and a server browser. You know? Yes, the server browser is going to be in Portal and they may mix it together, which will also be good. But what about lobby disbandment? You know? I'm hoping when the server browser, that means they get rid of lobby disbandment. Because I don't see how a server browser and lobby disbandment can be can exist at the same exact time. You know? The melee is also kind of glitchy as well. That's another thing, but that's my like issues. It's like issues from Battlefield 5 and 2042. It's the same things I've been complaining about on stream. Like watch my Battlefield streams, I've been complaining about these same issues over and over again. It's no different. That's literally all I have to say really about this game. It's the same issues that they implemented in 5 and 2042. The changes that were unnecessary, you know. It's change for the sake of change. Innovating for the sake of innovating, and in the end, you're de-innovating, you know. Because we had a system that was better, you know. There was no need to change it. It was like this Levolution kind of stuff, you know, just that extra dynamic destruction. Damn it, I was trying to fall back. My controller was also kind of bonky. I was trying to go back, but it was not letting me go back. Like I said, those are my complaints about this game. There's other small complaints here that are unique to this game, but the complaints I want to always talk about are right here. Let us customize our controls more dynamically. You know, if you're not going to let us, you know, fix weapons or whatever, pick up weapons, pick up classes. No lobby disbandment, you know. Server browser. And, you know, all the other stuff I was talking about. But it's just, you know, it's just stuff from, just stuff from Battlefield 5 and 2042, bro. It just needs to, like. And, you know, people have been asking for this stuff. And I've seen people talk about like, oh, it's not a big deal. Oh, other games, you know, have this stuff. You know, granted, Battlefield, it's a lot less issue because the gun matches sometimes last longer. On Call of Duty, like for me, like Cold War was like unplayable for me. You know, when I play like Cold War, because those Call of Duty matches you end like in 2 to 3 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes, and that's it. You know, but by the time but for me, you know, it's the same few damn maps. And the matches are always about to end regardless, you know. Get in, boom, ends. Okay, lobby disbandment. Go into the next match, oh, and go into the next match, Oh, and it's a loading simulator. Why do I want to play a loading simulator? You know, like I load up the second to last mission Battlefield 3 on the PS3 and we'll have an endless loading loop, you know. That makes it kind of glitched out in that game. And like I said, defibrillators need to be fixed. That's another thing too. Fix the defibrillators. I like in Battlefield 3 and 4, you know, and Hardline and stuff like that, where it's just like you hit an enemy and in that range, you hit a teammate and in that range, you know, it would do it. It doesn't even feel like you hit you hit your teammate. You know, you can't even tell that you hit your teammate, you know. The same thing with the power torch. It doesn't feel like you hit it. Sometimes it does, but there's like no vibration on the controller. There's no like, you know, like click. Like that click right there, it needs to be a little bit more stronger. It needs to be like a little bit on the vibration on the controller. Same thing with the repair torch as engineer. Like sometimes like it does the spark things, but so little. You know, like the fire, but you're not repairing with the fire, but then like the spokes you're repairing, but it doesn't feel it. And sometimes it's kind of hard to tell. I've been sometimes picking that. I've been like, you know, bro torching and repairing the damn crane like in the mountain map. You know, and you know, fixing the tank. You know, like it's hard to tell. You know. There's like no input. There's no feedback, you know, from on the things you do, you know. I must put controls acting up, but there's no feedback on the things you do, you know. It's the little thing. A lot of the stuff is like quality of life stuff and little things. Some of this stuff is also gameplay things, like I said, like, you know, reviving and stuff. But it's just it needs to be better, you know. And I feel like once they iron out that stuff, the game can be amazing, you know. And stop being stubborn on certain aspects. That's like another thing that needs to stop doing, is being stubborn on like this idea. I don't know who it is over there at DICE or EA who's so like it has to be like for example, goes down to supervisor or Labyrinth, like it has to be this, you know. It's probably like some checkbox thing, you know, they gotta add, you know. But this game is like away from all that, but they still wanna keep some things, you know. It's probably like engagement or something, but for me, getting kicked out of the match and sitting down and waiting 5 or 10 minutes for a match to load is not engaging. It tones me off in the game. Like I said, that's not engagement. Just saying, you know. And for me, and I know people who have stronger PCs. Like for me, this game, like you could already tell, like the frame rate is starting to deteriorate. You know, I have to restart the game like 3 or 4 times. I have to restart the game after like every 2 to 3 matches. You know, sometimes 4 is what I'm gonna say. And you know, it's a pain in the butt when, like, you know, I get into the match when after my restart and it loads into a match I don't want to play. Like it loads up Conquest when I'm trying to play Breakthrough, or I'm trying to play Rush, you know, or it loads into a map I don't want to play, you know, or it loads into a match that's about to end. And then I use up my one good like match where like it's gonna run at 60 frames. Now I'm gonna be playing 30 frames. And then at that match, it's gonna probably like halfway through the match, it's gonna run at 10 frames. And then the next match, it's gonna run at like 10 to 15 frames or 20 frames or whatever. And at that point, I might as well just restart, you know. Because, you know, I can't, you know, the quick match is the issue, you know. And there's people who have higher PCs I've been talking to, you know. Higher PCs, you know, I'm not running off of a laptop. And they have this issue. They've been having this issue too. So, you know, it's something that needs to be, you know, checked out, you know. Could be optimization. I thought, like, for me, like, oh, this game, it's a Battlefield game. My laptop, could be struggling. Makes sense. But if there's a lot of people who have this issue, I went to skins or CPU, it might be an optimization issue. And if they optimize it for stronger computers, this game will probably run a little bit more better on my laptop. So, yeah. Like I said, sometimes the matches don't cook, which is amazing. But you want to know that's also an issue, though. I then the frame it, by the way. Because what if you want to take a quick break, real quick, I need to get a drink real quick or something like that. Having that, like, like post-game, scene is nice to have too, Like, either matches load too quickly or they'll load too... It'll take like 10 minutes to find a match, It's just like, we had a happy medium, for decades, and now it's just... You can't have it both ways no more. It's just like a... Yeah, that's my issue. Now, let's talk about the game modes. Game modes, Rush, 12v12. I know some people didn't like that or weird about it. I don't mind it too much. They're obviously taking inspiration from like Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 3 maps, Backcountry 2 maps. They were definitely meant for 24 players. So Backcountry 2 Rush, and I think even Battlefield 3, if I remember correctly, on PC with 32 players. But on PS2 and 360, it was 24 because the content's going to handle more than 24 players. The fact the whole game exploding. But so that's why the maps were designed that. A lot of those older maps were designed with 24 players in mind. There were 64 players in mind too, but they were also designed with 24. That's why they were more linear, They were still wide. Don't get me wrong, they were still wide. But the focal point, everything was always, the flow of the map was always linear, It was always linear, But they were long and sometimes wide as well, They had multiple sectors. I also feel like with this game, it suffers the same thing. Battlefield 1 kind of suffers this too, but also Battlefield 4 and 5, where like they have to like lower the match time. There's not enough sectors. Like Battlefield 4 to add a timer. This game also has a timer, surprisingly. Like between Conquest or whatever. They had a timer. Battlefield 4 had multiple, like with operations. I love operations. Matches because sometimes that's an hour, naturally, If you have a good team, the DLC maps 1 to 2, a few sectors, and then only like one wave, breakthrough, Battlefield 5. A lot of the maps from breakthrough, there were only a couple sectors not, And I feel like this is what this game is suffering a lot. So these are a lot of smaller maps, but they're not long. Like with like Operation Metro, right? Like Conquest is short, right? Like it's just the Metro and then the outside main road, right? With pretty Rush and Operation Metro, you get the back, you get the poke, Sinwin Crossing, you get like that whole other area, right? You get like a whole other section of the map that that's only exclusive to that game mode. Like Conquest is not the be all end all be all map. Who unlocks the whole map. Like sometimes Rush is the game mode that unlocks the whole map, and I feel like that's what they need to do. I feel like with like Rush on this map would be cool if they like. I can't like see like half the stuff, but like they added like at this area right here, like they added this area, or you get closer to the bridge. Like there's the bridge over here, like you go fight underneath the bridge, or you walk your way up to the bridge, I feel like that would be better, as like a Rush exclusive or a Breakthrough exclusive, section of the map, Like that's another thing. Like the maps were also designed with, like in those maps, like that were designed with 24 players or 32 players. Back company as well, like back company 2 especially. But like they were also done with the game mode. So like okay, Like this part of the map is only going to be available for conquest, you know. And this part of the map is going to extend to Wash, you know, like it's going to be like get the park, or you get like the whole other area, like I said, like a Animal Crossing. Grand Bazaar, you reach your way all up to the mountain, you know. Or I mean Tower Highway, you know. Grand Bazaar, you get like on some, it's like a square, it's like a circle square, you know. You make your way like a loop around. But stuff like that too, you know, they can do that too at this map. Affect the map, you know, if it's too short, just loop it around, you know, just loop it. But it is what it is, because sometimes it's just too short, you know. The structure in this game is amazing, I gotta admit. It's very dynamic and everything. It's pretty cool. And adding debris and everything just feels so nice. I was waiting for a Battlefield game to keep like debris and Battlefield always had debris kept, and it was mostly just like in Bad Company when the house fell, or sometimes Battlefield 3, or once in a while 4. You know, it's the whole building, like the whole chunk, you know. But like, you know, like apartment buildings or stuff like that, you know, debris didn't really stay there. Even in 3, 4, 5, you know, it didn't really stay there. Here it kind of is, you know. Even if it's a preset, like, you know, asset texture and everything, it's still good. But that's like my complaints, you know. Those are like the big ones I had. I'm getting my bubble. I'm just yapping and I'm still on top. Like I'm not even paying attention to the game. I'm not even like focusing. I'm just thinking about stuff. I'm autopiloting the game right now, bro. But yeah, like I said, watch over here. Like maybe you can go through here. You know, like I like another final objective. You know, for Wash or Breakthrough. You know. Or further over there, like those ways they can do it, or you know, but they could have done something. But yeah, like up here maybe, you know, like right there, you know. But it is what it is, you know. It is what it is. Maybe they'll learn that in more future maps, you know. This game is getting the same treatment as Battlefield 3 doing, right? Like, you know, it's very like, oh, these are the Call of Duty maps, you know. Battlefield 3 had that same, you know, it's the same mindset and everything people complain about, you know. But in the end, the maps were still good and they grew over time. Maybe this would be the same thing, but I do gotta admit, like, make the maps a bit bigger, especially for certain game modes like Breakthrough or Rush. And for Conquest, you know, you can have them, you know, a certain size or a certain length or width or whatever. But definitely for like Breakthrough and Rush, you know, I like my long game modes, bro. I don't want the game to be in 10 seconds, bro. This is Battlefield, not Call of Duty, you know. And you know, 24 players, I don't mind. This is just like the good old days on PS3. It's not an issue. 32 would be just as better. You know, if we get 64, cool. It's not an issue for me. I know for some they want to have like 64 players on all the game modes, but for me, it's not an issue. You know, it's not an issue at all. Because this is what the majority of people who play Battlefield, you know, remember Battlefield, you know. The played on console or whatever. PC, you kind of got lucky, you know. You had the 64 and 32 options, you know. Yeah, us on the PS3 and 360, we were stuck with 24, you know. And, you know, in the maps, it feels good. It flows better, you know. And, you know, it could be less toxin on the hover too with less people, you know. But still, it just we was getting up butts with, bro. In spawn shop left and right. But like I said, pretty good match, pretty good game. Not good, but like it's a pretty good game in general. It just it has a couple issues. There is one more thing I want to talk about. There's one more thing I want to yap about. This is like a quality of life issue too. Also, this right here, like I just look. What if I just like you have custom search, right? But like a browser, non-library display with pixel crap. Like like you can have all these quick match options for those who just want to do quick match options, but just have us have the damn server browser. Have us have no library display, bro. Like please. But like taking out game modes, like or mixing them in, like so, like you can have certain game modes locked in together. This is why they want library disbandment. But but the one on like they want to have it so like you know wash and playthrough or like in one game bracket or you know they want to have everything like in a folder, but then they want like okay you can watch Conquest of Breakthrough separate, but you know they want to fill these playlists as well. You know, library spam never do that. But that's another thing. Just keep the just keep the game modes. That's it. Quit trying to rotate stuff. You know, just keep the game modes. Add the game modes and keep them in there. Don't be taking them out. Battlefield 5 started doing that. Took out Rush, you know, name a time game mode. Like, why are we taking out a classic, you know, core game mode, you know? That doesn't make me want to play the game or come back to the game whenever the game will come back. That doesn't make me want to do that. It makes me just not want to play the game in general. But also they add like Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3 music. We need Battlefield 4 music a lot. Especially like in the game, you know. But one last thing I wanna also have 1943 music. I don't have 1943. I thought I had 1943 music, but like the battle 1943 theme. But it was on 1942. But anyways, one last thing. This damn training thing, amazing. However, it is stupidly bad design because check this out. You cannot change your settings. You cannot change your weapon. You have to hit select and change your weapon, you know. Why can't I just push triangle, you know? This is a training section. And you can't change your settings. You can't switch your weapons. You can't check your grenades. And it's just a shooting range. What's the point of having a shooting range if you can't, you know, shoot? Well, I mean, you can shoot, but like, what's the point of all this if you can't change your settings and optimize and fine tune everything on the fly? You have to back out to the menu, change to the settings, and then go here, load it up again. And then yeah, and you wanna practice, you know, like let's say I'm trying to practice, you know, taking out multiple dudes. You know? And it's like, oh, I'm out of ammo, let me switch. Oh, I can't switch weapons. You know, you can't practice that. You know? It kind of defeats the whole purpose of all of it if you can't actually do anything, you know? Like if you can't train, it's the point of training if you can't you can't train to your full potential, you know? You can't fully optimize training if you limited to what you can only have. So they need to fix that. Options, controller options, change settings, all that stuff needs to be right here. Changing weapons on the fly. Edit class, that could stay the same there. You know, but just let us do it. Just let us have all the weapons. I don't get why not, you know. And add the watermelon in here. Like I can't even melee. You know. It's just pushing circle. It's crouching. Even this is all three. This is circle. They need to fix the control stuff too. There's probably hidden controls too that overlap into. Like I can't even mount anything like that too. It's just a. So those are the complaints I have. I don't know if it's a good game. A lot of it, like I said before, all these issues existed in Battlefield 5 and 2042. They started with Battlefield 5 and 2042. So they need to fix all that. Other than that, that's pretty much it. There's other issues as well. Like I don't know why support class and I don't know why the support class is both support and medic. I don't really like that too much, but it is what it is. I do hope in due time when the game releases, it's a lock weapon system. And they just have a playlist for those who just want to open weapon system. But I do hope the main focus, the main game modes and everything is pushing towards locked weapon system. Because having some dude snipe me, you know, and shooting me with RPG, with a shotgun and the damn assault class, you know, it's just the most dumbest thing, you know, like this dude with the fire new tubes, dude sniping me and shotgunning me, bro. Dude with the engineers sniping me and throwing RPGs at me. Like it's just like, you know, like just get rid of it. Get rid of shotguns in the game. Like to be honest, just you can put them in the game. Like you can put them maybe as a recon. We can probably have them. I don't know, but. Or it could be like a universal class, but in the end, I feel like shotguns are like, they need to be turned that crap down big time. Battlefield always had issues with shotguns, but in this game, it's bad. It's really bad. It's probably worse than Battlefield 3 and 4, bro. It's worse. We have an issue where it's worse than the USAS AS-12. You know, if you know what I'm talking about. You know, Battlefield 3. It's worse than that, bro. Like that gun back in the day could change day and night. This thing can change, you know, galaxies, bro. This thing can, like, you know, make black holes and white holes, bro. Like this thing is like, shotguns in this game are like crazy ridiculous, bro. Like this damn thing, like it's like tone it down, get rid of it or whatever, bro. Like look how far that's going over there, bro. Like, I shouldn't even reach that far. Like, look at that. Like, it shouldn't even reach that far. And then this is like, you know, with the training round. In a real match, in a real game, I could probably shoot that dude. I could probably two-tap that dude. Like, I could probably one-tap that guy. And then I could probably like two-tap that guy. Like, and all this guy's getting one tap. This guy's gonna get one tap. And this guy's gonna get one tap, you know. Like in an actual match, that's how it works, you know. But like, even if I'm not one tapping it, just me getting a hit marker from this range is bad. Look at that. Like that is some of the most retarded thing I have ever seen, bro. Like literally, like the most dumbest thing of all time, bro. Like brain rot right here, bro. Like this is for like the babies, bro, the noobs, the Call of Duty players. Like I should not even be hitting this dude, bro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 shots from back here, bro. I shouldn't even be hitting him once. That was just 3 right there. Or like 4 or 5. I didn't know how many that was, but yeah. But it's just like, this game has some issues, bro. Shotguns need to get out or lower down or something, bro. But it's just, yeah. But like I said, there's tons of things. Like I said, the quality of life fixes that need to be brought back. And fix the issues from Battlefield 5 and 2042, but are still in this damn game for some reason. Other than that, that's pretty much it. I could name off the top of my head. There's probably a couple other things. Like I said, objective placement and all that other stuff. But that goes with the map design, extending the maps. If they could make maps more longer and linear, that'd be nice. They don't have to make them too wide. Battlefield 3 maps are wide, they were wide, but like the flow was perfect, you know. So you can have like that out of bounds, but still be inbounds, you know, map, you know. But you can, but at the same time, just keep like make it like linear, you know, long and lean, you know. Especially if they're going for like the 24, 32 kind of option for like Russian break or like Russian general, like that'd be, you know, but pretty cool, you know. Breakthrough, obviously that could be some tweaking of it, but longer sectors, you know, like, you know, want more sectors or whatever, right? I would like operations, but it is what it is. But breakthrough, I haven't had too much issue with breakthrough. I think it's pretty good though. Conquest is just like normal. It's just like Rush can definitely be using some work, bro. More sectors. The maps are definitely not designed with Rush in mind. The breakthrough and Rush can benefit with this is have, it's like I said with Battlefield 3, you know, if the interest Battlefield 3, Cinema Crossing and Operation Metro, the maps that could come off the top of my head. Tower Highway, I think a little bit as well. Grand Bazaar with its all unique circle. It's still, you know, it's a square map. It's like you just loop around. But like with Tower Highway, Grand, Cinema Crossing, and like Metro, you had, you know, exclusive parts of the map, you know, for that game mode. You know, Metro is the perk. You know, Cinema Crossing's like that other area. You know, at the beginning of the game. You know. And then, you know, Toho is like the up the mountain, like up the hill, you know. But stuff like that, like those are things I could tap out. And like Grand Bazaar is just a loop, you know, it's just a loop, you know, because it's a smaller map. But it still had enough sectors in. But other than that, like take inspiration from those maps. And like make maps like, hey, if this map is too big for Conquest, we can like try to shrink it down for Conquest. But in Breakthrough and in Rush, you guys can benefit from this, bro. You know. And yeah, like, you know, do that. And I don't know, that's pretty much it. If they're gonna, like I said, Battlefield 3, PS3, 360, Bad Company, same thing. 24, 32 players. If you're gonna take inspiration from those, especially for Rush, for those kind of player count, keep the maps in mind for that. Because Rush is a staple game mode, you know. So, if they want to fix for Rush or stuff like that, like I said, Breakthrough could benefit from it too. But yeah, keep those in mind. Other than that, that's pretty much all I gotta say. Off the top of my head, I'm gonna probably have to restart this game anyways, so I can play. Optimization, like I said, for me, I thought it was mostly just my hardware, and it probably still is. But if other people who I know are having issues, who have beefier PCs, dual setups, kind of like mine, and they're still having issues, I don't know, bro. They need to fix that. I can only imagine those who are trying to stream, you know, and or like use a model or something like that, or like the webcam or whatever, or probably music or whatever, you know. I can only imagine trying to win this game, bro. But that's pretty much it. That's in this video. That's my, I guess, complaints, mostly complaints about the game. I still like the game. I love the game. The praise of the game is the same thing everyone's praising about, you know, destruction. Gameplay feels good. When it running at 60 frames, bro, it's amazing. Dynamic destruction, audio, and everything. Optimization, and all that other stuff I was yapping about. All that, that's pretty much it.